Hi there everyone, welcome back to my channel Boomy Reactions. For those of you who are new, my name is Boomy. Thank you for watching. And for everyone else, welcome back my lovelies. This video is the dangers that Gen X faced. Okay, so I am not a member of Gen X. I am a millennial. So Gen X, oh gosh, there's so many. Every generation has to have a label now, don't they? So let me think. Gen X, you guys are born between, is it 1960 and 1980? Yes, so I've missed out. I'm a millennial. I'm the next generation over. So, right, okay, the dangers that Gen X face. I don't know. It's got to be like dangers around growing up and I don't know, being a little bit more carefree, maybe. Parenting was probably a little bit more relaxed. Now we're just bombarded with horror stories from the media. So I think it makes people very, very uncomfortable about letting their kids out on their own. But I don't imagine that was as much of a problem for Gen X's. I'm grasping at straws. That's the only thing I can think of. Okay, let's get into the video. Otherwise, you know me, I'm going to be talking for another 5 minutes. And as ever, guys, if you're enjoying these reactions, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. If you're interested, I have a buy me a coffee over here. And if you're interested in supporting this channel any further, the details are in the link in the description below. Thank you so much, guys. And as ever, I appreciate you all.
If you grew up as Generation X, then it's probably a miracle you even survived. At least that's what the modern world tells us. Many of the things that were normal back then are now taboo. In this video, we will have a look back and wonder how Gen X kids even survived. Television wasn't everything, but it was still pretty important. If you were a kid in the 70s, then you probably did not even have cable. Most people relied on a television antenna, which was usually rabbit ears and tinfoil.
Oh, now I've got to admit it's not something I grew up recognizing. So this is a little bit before my time, guys. But yes, I remember our old TV from the 90s. It was a huge, huge thing. I don't know if you guys in the US had something similar, but we had a bit of a pay-as-you-go kind of pay-as-you-view type TV where you had to put a pound coin in the box in the back. And then I think it lasted for like 24 hours or something like that. And then it would run out and then the TV would just cut out. And then you'd be scrambling around, shouting your mum and dad for a pound to put in the back of the TV. I wonder if this is just a British thing. But it always happened right in the middle of your favourite TV programme, your TV show, the precious ones. And yeah, it kind of like, it waited until, it was just the worst time for this TV to cut out. And that's when you would need a pound. And that is when no one would have any cash or any pounds in their purse. Typical.
However, there were some households that used an antenna that was mounted on top of the roof.
We had an aerial.
Every so often, this antenna would need to be adjusted thanks to some wind or weather.
Oh, yes.
This became a family affair. Dad, of course, was in charge of the picture, so he was right in front of the television.
They are, aren't they? It always falls on the dads, and even more recently, it's the broadband. When the broadband fails, the internet goes down. Dads are in the firing line, aren't they?
One of the kids would be up on top of the roof and ready to receive instructions from the relay of the rest of the family spread out from Dad.
No.
No one ever thought anything about kids being on the roof and then falling off. Most kids got up there anyways just to get a better view of the neighborhood or the stars.
Really?
Many newer roofs are much more steep, and that might be considered child abuse to send your kid up there. I guess it's a good thing that people don't have to deal with antennas on the roof.
Yeah. Just the odd satellite dish, or even not so much that these days. Is that for any of our Gen X viewers? Is that normal? Were you quite often sent onto the roof to adjust your aerials? Oh no, okay. I'm starting to understand the differences now. Yes, that would absolutely not happen this day and age, would it? But like the narrator said, are roofs more steeper? Like if it's a bungalow, if you live in a bungalow, then I understand it. But oh gosh, all it would take is like a bit of rain, a slippy roof tile, or just, not watching your footing and falling. Oh gosh.
Summers as a kid were always fun, and why wouldn't it be? You were out of school, and that meant you could spend more time with your friends. But with all that running around outside, you were bound to get thirsty. Yes. There's nothing quicker and more refreshing than a sip from the garden hose. Of course, you had to let it run a while before it got cool enough to drink, but it certainly had a distinctive taste. When is the last time that you've seen a kid do this?
We did this. So we used to do this. I'm pretty sure kids still do this now. If you've got the paddling pool out on a hot, sunny day, they're just mesmerized by the hose, aren't they? All ages, they love the hose. And that's not that unusual. Even these days, my nieces and nephews, they still have a little swig from the hose when the parents aren't looking.
It's supposed to be unhealthy, yet here we are.
Yes, a little
But occasionally, I still take a sip from the garden hose.
Why not?
The garden hose was also connected to a couple other activities that parents today may consider them to be too dangerous. The first one was the slip and slide. The older editions of the slip and slide were a little bit more dangerous, and some kids broke bones or chipped teeth on these, but just about everyone slid off the end or over the side and got a grass or rock burn. Believe it or not, they still sell these, but they are a little bit safer. Yes. This next item, however, I'm not so sure about.
Oh my gosh, they do still sell slip and slides, don't they? But I have noticed the water pressure. See on this photo here, there's lots of little tiny holes. And I don't know, the water pressure it's not great on them. So it's not that much water. I don't know whether that makes it more or less safe. But there's something so magical and so entertaining about having the hose, somebody holding the hose on one side and then just creating it yourself. You just can't help yourselves. It's so much more fun that way. It feels more creative. Like it's your own slip and slide because you created it yourself.
As kids, we all enjoyed playing in the water sprinkler, but some of these sprinklers could be pretty rough. This one in particular was really dangerous. It had a solid steel base that could certainly hurt if you stubbed a toe on it or fell on it, but that wasn't the dangerous part. When the water ran through the sprinkler, it would move the metal fan blade at the top. At that point, it was like a little saw blade that was spinning fast on top, and it could cut through little water-soaked toes and feet. Kids were fast learners, though. If they got cut once, they would be sure to clear it the next time.
Oh, but what about the little kids, the babies? Okay, we don't have sprinklers so much in the UK. Maybe the odd one or two people do have like some kind of water irrigation gardening system, but generally speaking, we don't have them. So this is a bit of a foreign concept to a British person. So yes, we would 100%, any generation, I think, if we had sprinklers and they were the norm over here, we would definitely play in the water in them and abuse them. But yeah, they're just not the norm over here. So we can only really go off stories from people that live in the US or things that we see on TV.
Kids in our day used to be outside a lot, and we loved it. That worked out great because most of our parents really didn't want us inside the house anyways. As a result, kids spent a lot of time out in the sun. And sunblock? We had no idea what that was. Are you talking about a hat or a shade tree? At most, we may have depended on SPF 4, and that's only if we were super cautious. Everyone was exposed to the sun, and many of us would compare sunburns at the end of the day. When our skin started peeling, we would see who could peel off the biggest flake. Oh look, that one looks like Texas. It also wasn't uncommon to see teen girls and young women laying out and trying to get that golden beach tan. Quite often, they would speed up this process by using either coconut oil or tanning oil. Today, most kids get lathered up with anything from 30 SPF to 100 SPF.
It ages your skin horribly, doesn't it, guys? The sun, it does age your skin. So that's probably a good reason for a lot of women, young women, girls piling on the sun cream these days. The peeling is a very common thing, not so much in the UK because I don't think we actually get enough sun for the majority of the year. Maybe 1 or 2 days a year we get hot enough weather to cause and inflict that kind of sunburn. This is more holiday related. And yes, Brits are a bit silly in the sun. If we go abroad, and because it's a bit of a novelty to us, we want to spend as much time out in the sun as possible, we will take that tanning oil because, as you can see, our complexions are very ghost-like. We just don't get the sun. Oh my gosh. Okay, so sunblock wasn't as common then. We call it suntan lotion. You guys are sunblock, aren't you? Okay, see, I have a terrible habit of picking absolutely anything. I think I've mentioned it before. When I was younger, my family used to refer to me as a chimpanzee because I will pick anything. It sounds disgusting. I know it is disgusting. Spots, scabs, absolutely anything. So if I can pick it, if I've got my shoulders burning from holiday, obviously not from the UK, and I've got a bit of sunburn and it peels, I'm having fun for about 2 hours picking. I know I'm disgusting.
Parents in those days certainly didn't have to watch us like the parents do today. They not only trusted us, but they also trusted our friends and the rest of the community. Parents realized that we needed to do things on our own, and that was how we were going to learn.
Yeah,
however, if they were watching and we happened to get hurt, there was no doubt that they were going to be laughing as long as it wasn't life-threatening. Bikes were everything to a Gen X kid, and they provided us a freedom that we couldn't get from anything else. We could go on adventures that were hours away from home, and for the most part, our parents had no idea where we were at. We also used our bikes to jump some pretty shady ramps. We could do a lot with some plywood and bricks, and it was hours of entertainment.
As we
look back on our childhoods and compare it to modern kids, it's hard to believe that we did all those bike adventures with no helmet or knee pads. This picture pretty well sums up the generation. This kid is jumping his bike off of a super tall ramp.
Oh my God.
Notice that he has no helmet, knee pads, or elbow pads. Just pure fun adventure. If this Evel Knievel lands short, then the kid on the end is in trouble, and occasionally that did happen. As you look at the kids on the side, you can tell that they are worried about this because they've seen it happen themselves. But the best part about this photo is there's a dad sitting on the front steps and he's smoking a cigarette while he's waiting to see who gets hurt first. For him, this is as good as any gong show on television.
Oh my gosh, that sums it up. So I'd say my generation, we would go out on our bikes and make the ramps, yes. Leftover scrap pieces of wood that you can find and bricks, piling up and making those ramps. Or curbs even, you know, good times. Yes, and we went out without helmets and knee pads. I don't think that's the norm now, is it? I think that maybe died with the millennials because it was seen as uncool, wasn't it? You know, nobody really wanted to be out wearing a helmet. They were a bit gawky, a bit bulky, weren't they? Nobody really wanted to sport a massive luminous green cycling helmet. But now, I don't know, safety prevails, doesn't it, guys? It's more the norm, I think. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously it's good because we're safer, but I suppose if you're riding your bike on the road as well, it's a good thing to have that helmet in case you get knocked by a car. But yeah, very, very safety aware these days, aren't we? And our kids.
Back in those days, cigarette smoke was everywhere, and you couldn't avoid secondhand smoke if you wanted to. In fact, most of us had at least one parent that smoked.
Yes,
Parents would send their kids into convenience stores to purchase cigarettes while they waited out in the car.
Oh no, I never got sent.
Usually the clerk would just look out and get a nod from the parent, which would signal that it was okay to buy the cigarettes. If the parents were not around, then the kid probably needed a note from the parents saying that it was okay to buy the cigarettes. These notes were never all that official, and it might be written on a notepad, scratch of paper, or the back of a receipt. Dear clerk, please sell Rhett a carton of cigarettes. Thanks, Mom. Can you believe that actually worked?
No.
There's no chance that kids could ever do that today.
No.
Car safety was...
Oh, just before we move on, this is an unusual one, guys. So smoking recently became banned in the UK in a lot of public places and indoors especially. So as a result, we found a significant drop in the amount of smokers that we have here. Although we've had the prevalence of vapes, that's the only downside. So it's kind of just switched. I don't know which one's worse, but I remember, so I had a parent that smoked, and grandparents that smoked as well. It was everywhere. And even going into pubs, oh, it was the worst. There was just, you'd walk into clouds of smoke, and it was just normal for a long time. It actually became quite weird when the smoking ban came into place. Now, of course, you can still smoke in outdoor areas, but they've got normally their allocated areas for smokers. So just out of interest, did something similar happen in the USA? Or do you guys still have an awful lot of smokers? Is it frowned upon? Is it norm? Is it the normal? Is it norm? Like it would have been in the UK, you know, maybe early noughties, late 90s, anytime before that. Just out of interest, I just wondered. So when we go to places in Europe, I don't think a lot of those countries have a smoking ban, and it's very, very noticeable for UK tourists because now we've become acclimatized to the fresh air and the lack of smoke. But when you go abroad, I don't know, it's like going back into the past, and all of a sudden there's a lot more people that smoke, and it's odd. So I do wonder what it's like in the US. Have you had a smoking ban? Is it normal? Let me know in the comments, guys. Very interesting.
Something else that most people didn't take too seriously.
No seatbelts.
In the US, it became mandatory that every car manufactured after 1968 had to have seatbelts installed in them.
But did they use them?
But wearing them was more of a recommendation rather than a requirement until the mid-1980s. Until then, we stood up on the front seat so that we could see up over the dash, and our dad's arm was our seatbelt and the airbag. Another thing that we would do is lay up on the back dash and pick our noses as we looked at the cop car behind us. We thought it was super fun when Dad had to slam on the brakes and we came flying out of that back window and slammed into the back of the front seat. Back then, we had to learn how to take a fall, and the crazy thing about it is we couldn't wait to get back up there and try it again.
The sight of this absolutely makes me gasp. Can you imagine seeing a newborn baby just lying on the back of that car? Oh my gosh, it'd make your heart stop, wouldn't it? And funnily enough, my generation, I don't know whether it's a thing just in the UK, but we had a very, very similar thing. So in the 90s, when I was a youngster, I don't think wearing a seatbelt was enforced. So you knew they were there. You know, you should really wear them, but no one, it wasn't enforced so much. So I actually remember my parents had a van, my dad had a van, and it was only a 2-seater in the front van. And like 5 of us used to be able to clamber into that van. And I think my mum would have my brother and sister in the footwell in front of her, or one of them on her knee, and then I would literally stand in between the seats that my mum and my dad were in, and looking back, it's horrific, isn't it? Oh, it terrifies me. Like if I saw that down the street, my heart would stop. I would be so concerned and so worried. But yeah, lack of car safety was definitely a thing around, well, still in the UK, maybe in the 90s. I suppose near the like late 90s, early noughties, it started being more heavily enforced. And I do think that's probably a good thing because seatbelts do save lives, don't they, guys?
Pickup trucks were not as common as what you see today, and people that had boats would haul them with regular cars, even Cadillacs. And when Dad needed lumber, it was going on the roof of the car so that it could come home. He would tie it down a little, but it was still our job to help hold the lumber down as it was stacked on the roof.
Oh, some of the things
So
I've seen
there
on
we
top of
were,
cars.
standing up on the seat, halfway out the window, clinging to the lumber on top, while Dad had his hand on our waistband to keep us from falling out. Somehow his other hand was busy holding down the lumber on his side, which is pretty incredible to think about. At the same time, he was also steering the car, shifting gears, and smoking a cigarette. It's no wonder that we thought he could do anything.
Wow. Okay.
Remember some of the other activities we did? We all had toys that are considered dangerous now, but back then it was completely normal. Lawn darts was one of those toys.
Oh.
That weighted sharp point could penetrate anything if you didn't get the heck out of the way. Clackers, click-clacks, or knockers had the possibility of shattering and sending shards of plastic flying through the air like shrapnel.
Oh, that reminds me of
Yet
conkers.
somehow, some of these clackers survived. In fact, here is my pair from the 70s.
I've seen these. Don't see them a lot.
Back then, we learned how to entertain ourselves with the simplest of things.
Aerobic.
Do you remember making long chains from soda and beer can pull tabs? According to what they say today, we could have been badly cut at any moment, yet most of us had minor cuts, if any. But one dangerous activity that we all did was kite fighting. Remember this one? You would fasten razor blades to the side of your kite and then swoop it down so that you could cut the string of your friend's kite.
For real?
If you were successful, then that kite would keep flying forever. But if your kite took a nosedive to the ground, then you better be quick and get out of the way of those razor blades. BB guns were another item that was quite common. Kids could go all over town with one on the front of their handlebars, and the BB wars would certainly get intense. Back then, we definitely did not have safety at the top of our list when those broke out.
It was like the spud guns that we'd have
Firecrackers
over here.
were certainly a lot more accessible than they are today. It seemed like you could pop them off in every city, and it was perfectly legal. Did you ever set off some fireworks and then place them into your Tonka truck and roll it into the driveway where some neighborhood girls were playing jacks so that you could get their attention? No? Well, I guess that was just me then. Speaking of jacks, they were definitely something painful to step on if you were barefoot.
Ooh,
Any parent today that complains about a Lego being stepped on has probably never really stepped on a jacks. These things would completely hide in the shag carpet, and they were like little soldiers that were waiting to ambush you. With all that time that you spent on the bicycle, then I'm sure that you probably came in contact with at least one of these. One slip of the foot and this pedal could travel up your leg like a vegetable peeler.
Ugh.
Kids today know nothing about that level of pain.
Ouch.
Here is
Oh my gosh, there's so many things here, isn't there? I remember not so much making chains out of the tops of cans, like, you know, soda cans, not beer cans. Far too young for that. Soda cans. Not so much making chains out of those, but for some reason, when I was younger, I don't know if it's still the same now with these generations, but we had a fixation with taking them off the top of cans and then drinking the can. And looking back, you just think, why would you do that? You just made them more dangerous. You've made that really sharp bit, and then you're going to go in and drink it. But kids, the younger the kids, the worse this seems to be, but they love sticking their tongue in that hole after they've pulled the top off, and you just think, how have you not cut your tongue? It goes through me. Oh, I can't stand watching little kids do things like that, honestly. Oh, the razor blades. Is that a real thing? Did that actually happen? Please tell me that didn't happen. That sounds horrendous. What if it was a really windy day? Which, you know, I imagine it would be if you were flying kites. But, you know, if your kite kind of just bombs it out of the sky, or if it falls or something happens to the kite and you don't expect it to, and you're in that line. Oh, gosh. Oh, okay. There are more than a handful of dangerous sounding things here.
Something else that could be really painful. These chairs were really comfortable to lay in, but when you got up, you had lines going all across your skin. But that wasn't the worst part.
Danger. It was
they were not the easiest to adjust. You had to bend them all the way in so that you could adjust them further out. One wrong move and the hinges of these torture devices could snap down on you like a bear trap and take off a chunk of skin.
It's like a mouse trap,
Are these chairs even sold today?
In the 90s.
Despite all the dangers that were lurking all around us, it really was a special time to grow up in. People were friendly and neighbors were someone that you could count on. Some of the dangers that we see today are completely different than what we faced. Do you have any special memories that you would like to share? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching.
Oh, I love those photos there. So much nostalgic. Guys, does this bring back memories? The odd photo I'm looking at, and I can recognize the fashion and some odd things in there. The deck chairs, or I don't know what you would refer to them as in the US, those the lounging chairs, the outdoor chairs. I remember them being kind of like a casual danger. And yeah, they were an absolute pain in the backside, weren't they? A pain in the butt, because they could at any moment when you're trying to adjust them just go snap down like a mouse trap, literally. And looking back, they actually were quite dangerous, weren't they? Oh, but what good memories this must bring back for a lot of Gen Xers. Guys, let me know in the comments. Are you seeing things here that you haven't seen for ages and you just, all the memories come flooding back? I love seeing those retro, vintage, nostalgic photos. I think they're adorable. It reminds me very much of, the only thing I can compare it to is like Stranger Things and the things that I see on TV these days, or like the Goonies, that kind of era. It's so cute, it's adorable. But yes, so I suppose these days children do have a whole different set of dangers, don't they? And I think because it's reported so much more widely, you know, awful things that strike fear into the hearts of any parents, it's enough to make you really reluctant to let your kids out of your sight. And, you know, you always want to know where they are. It's that balance though, isn't it? Do the kids really get to experience? I don't know where I stand on that, 50-50 maybe. But it is very difficult because, yes, we're so much more aware. We live in a smaller world, I think, in some respects. The media is a lot more prevalent and we're just so much more aware of all the horror stories. We'll hear all the horror stories about awful things that have happened, you know, when your backs are turned and your children are vulnerable. But we won't hear the millions and millions and millions of stories of the good experiences that children have had growing up. You know, I don't know, the bad ones always, they're a lot louder, aren't they? And they are a worry for an awful lot of parents. So I do sympathise. It's a hard one, isn't it, guys? And of course, we've got electronic devices, we've got phones, so children are a lot more distracted from just good old going out and playing out in the streets with their friends. It's a tough one. It's a toughie. Let me know what you think, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that video along with me. I did really enjoy watching that. So take care of yourselves for now, guys, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.